February 2nd, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2002 chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. The only economic data that came out was around 7 o'clock Pacific Standard, which is right about here. It didn't really do anything to the market other than that. It was just kind of a sell-off day bounce, and then it pushed up. Looked like there was a few spikes and channels. There's like a spike here and then a channel. But then this overall looks like a spike up and then another shallow channel. So it's almost like a smaller time frame spike in a channel, then another. This is one leg spike and then another channel here. I did try to see if I could get a bigger channel to fit, but nothing really quite looked like it worked because you really didn't get any second confirmations, or excuse me, third confirmations. And price trading actually slowed down. Price action slowed down a great deal after about, I would say about 9 o'clock Pacific Standard. I managed to take 3 trades today. The first one was a terrible setup in hindsight, and actually shortly after I took the trade, I kind of looked at it again before I got stopped out, and I thought, why the heck did I take that trade? And then the next 2 trades were profitable. So I'm actually going to be a little red, and actually being a little red and then seeing how the price action, so after my 3rd trade, I saw how things were really slowing down. I just decided, okay, I'm just going to, well, be a little bit red for the day and not try to hunt the trade back. So pre-market looks like it was sideways, moved up, break, test the high, 2 legs up, 1 big leg down. It could be seen as maybe 2 legs, 1 leg sideways, another leg, break, test the low, reverses back up. And then it starts moving up this green up channel. This green up channel, there is a second entry long here, but I don't trade the pre-market. So it's localized high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. Depending on how you drew it, you could have a 3rd touch confirmation, but this is established after these touches happen because as the day goes on, my channels kind of evolve. And then earlier it looked like something like this, that it could have been a 3rd touch, but that's neither here nor there because I don't really trade the pre-market. Price then moves sideways. On the open, it spikes up, sells off, no second entries, same thing, it just kind of moves sideways, pushes up, came down, it's like a first entry long, just one right here, it's like a first entry long visual, and it did spike above, then it creates a second entry long, and it gives you a higher low here, but this is an almost trade. I do like that it's bouncing off the EMA. It didn't quite bounce off the green up channel, but it has a decent signal bar. The problem I don't like with it is it's already pressing toward the high of day, so there's not that much room to scalp out here. If this initial swing was higher, then it'd probably be a trade worth taking, but here you're already challenging the localized high. Prices then continue moving up. At this point, I do have this green channel established because, as I said, it was touching this one initially, but then it actually looks like it touches better here, 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 and then it's kind of moves a little bit since then. Let me just go ahead and tweak this down because I actually had a touch here. Prices move up. I did see a second entry long here. I thought it was a little aggressive because you have localized high. It's a first entry long, pullback, second entry long. But the problem is this is an inside bar, so it actually could just be a first entry long. Nevertheless, I thought it was a possible trade. It is a little more aggressive. It is bouncing off the EMA, which is showing support because there was some violations early on, but as you could tell afterwards, prices are pretty much obeying the EMA, and this is the first break of this green up channel with the EMA. I'm thinking prices are going to move back into the green channel, decent signal bar. So I thought it was a possible trade, although a little more aggressive. Prices move up, creates a high of day. It's also a first entry long pullback. This is an inside bar, but if you did the technical count, this one does move above this one, but it's not a very clean first entry. It's a clean first entry, not a very clean second entry. So I didn't really think of anything of this. Starts moving down this orange down channel, break to the low side. Keep in mind this yellow up channel doesn't exist yet. It actually only exists as a collapsed, because it shows up later. It shows up as a trend line among many others. So I'm gonna actually just put it right here for now as a trend line. No setups here. It's a first entry short, second entry short, second entry short failure, but it's below the EMA. I'm looking for a higher low confirmation of this thing. You really don't get a higher low near this guy. By the time you get a higher low, it's way over here. It's kind of far from the setup. you could pretty much say it's not really related to this. It moves up what I think is this like spike in this purple gradual up channel, break and test the high. This actually sets up my first trade, but it's actually a terrible trade. So this is what I was thinking in real time. I saw it's a localized high. It's a first entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long right here, but I saw it as a visual first entry, and then this green bar creates a second entry. I convinced myself there's a triple test here, one touch, two touch, three touch. It's very, very tight, very congested, but that was good enough for me at the time to believe that prices are going to move back up. Now, here's everything wrong with my thinking besides it losing, because you can see I entered here and then I got stopped out here one tick below this guy. I should have kept in mind this green up channel is technically broken and tested the high. So up channel of this or upwards momentum of this green bar has played out. If I was looking at just this purple up channel isolated, it has also broken and tested the high. So the momentum going to the high side of this has also played out. Now, even though I think, or I convinced myself there's a viable triple test here and a decent signal bar, which is a decent signal bar, but it's also inside to this. So that kind of negates it as being a good setup and being a good signal bar. The fact that it already tested the high, it didn't really touch the EMA. There's really no good reason to take a trade right here, especially to go long. Definitely not to go short because your overall bias is still upwards. So you don't know when it's going to correct or if it's going to keep going, but definitely too early to take this trade. Nevertheless, I took it, and as a result, I lost. Price then continue moving down, hits this localized bottom area. It's a first entry short pullback. You technically have a second entry short here, but it's an inside bar, so I'm now looking for a lower high. You get a lower high here, but I'm not convinced of this yet because in real time, I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I do think it's going to come back to the low side, but I just avoided this one because it looks like on a higher time frame, looks like just first entry short. So it could pull back a second time, but so I avoided this one. Break of this red down channel, test the low. At this time, I do establish this as a potential possible trading range. Low side support, high side support, localized low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. This second entry short is an almost trade. I really debated it and really in real time was thinking, man, I think I should take this trade. So this is what I see in real time. Low, first entry short, second entry short. It didn't break above this guy, but so this would have been the signal bar. The follow through to confirm a second entry short is pretty good. The EMA isn't very reliable right now because it's just going sideways, but here I am in this range, and I'm thinking, okay, move to the high side, down to the low side, up to the high side. It could come back down to the low side, except it already touched here. So my expectation is it wants to drift back to the high side. Although right now it looks like it could come back down. So I left it alone, but I thought this is a decent setup, but it didn't quite follow all the rules. So I called it an almost trade. It would have worked, so it came back and tested the low side again. So I'm thinking, okay, is it done trying to make it to the high side of this range? The potential fail breakout starts getting choppy. It's starting to dwell outside, and that's where I thought maybe there's a measured move coming. I'm looking for something to happen down here. This is just congested. It does touch it, breaks a little bit below, and starts reversing back up. I'm thinking, is this a fail breakout on a larger time frame? It's a fail breakout, but there's nothing here for me. Looks like it's a spike and then a shallow channel up. Now I'm expecting prices to touch the high side here. It kind of makes it's a localized high, almost touches the high side of the range. It's the first entry long. And this actually sets up for my second, well, technically, yeah, my second trade of the day. I saw this as a spike in a channel. It's one attempt up and it's coming back down. This could be a second attempt. This is a decent signal bar, although it's a doji. It looks like there's also two legs down. EMA is holding. I thought it might have been at least moving in a range. If not, there's at least some kind of support here. Clean one attempt, clean second attempt, clean third attempt. So I thought it was a second entry long triple test, decent signal bar. So I entered right at the high. So I did wait for it to break above, drop my order, one tick, not one tick, but right at the highs of this. Waited for it to come back, pick me up, pushes up, gives me my quick. So in this case, I did go for a 6-tick scalp. Prices then continue moving. It would have been good for 2 full points or 8 ticks. Starts reversing. At this point, one of the many channels I was playing, or thinking might have been an option was, oops, go ahead and bring this up to here. So I thought this might have been a gradual up channel, but I trust this lower support side more than the high side. But that's good because you want to trust the support side on a day where you think things are going long. But this is a very shallow channel, so I'm just kind of sitting and waiting. So it pushes down, bounces off this range support, so I'm trusting it a lot. It also happens to bounce off this yellow up channel. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. Unfortunately, there's no clean setup here. Pushes up. I'm looking for a higher low. It never shows up. Break of the screen up channel is tested the high, creates a first entry long, pullback, second entry long. This sets up for my my third trade, my second profitable trade. Break of the screen up channel technically has tested the high. It's moving down on this orange down channel. And I notice again, there's a triple test, 3 attempts, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. Tried to break through this support. This one, I also noticed the EMA isn't being pushed. It's not pushing through the EMA. When it reversed like this and it created an engulfing bar, I thought, okay, I like this setup. It's a first entry long pullback. Could be a second entry long. If I truly am in a range, it could push to the high side. Now, there is a risk because the other thing going for this is the break of this orange down channel is tested the low. The break of this green up channel is tested the high, but overall context seems like it's going to the bullish side. There's a failed breakout here, a failed breakout here. So I wasn't that convinced prices are going to come back into this trading range because it looked like it tried to do it once right here, came back, tried to do it a second time here to break into this blue trading range. At that point, I thought, okay, the attraction of prices to try to get back into this blue range is probably exhausted. Coupled with the fact that this is a nice engulfing signal bar, I said, I think this is a trade worth taking, but I'm not going to be ambitious. I'm going just for a 1-point scalp. So you can see I entered at the highs. Enter the highs. My stop is below this candle because this is a 2.75. This is pretty much a 11-point candle. 11, not 11 point, 11 tick candle. So that's the risk I was willing to take. It creates, I thought it might have been lower high here, but it never really flushes out. And then it pushes up. It's got my quick 1-point scalp. So these two trades didn't completely erase the poor trade here, but it brought me pretty close to break even. I'm still a little red, but I figured, okay, I'm just going to be okay with it because I noticed the prices are starting to slow down. Price action started to slow down. It moves in this blue range and it starts pushing up. Potential fail breakout of this smaller blue range. It moves back to the low side. I'm thinking there's going to be a corresponding failed breakout on this side before it probably keeps moving up because it looks like it's a really strong bullish day, although it's kind of slowed down. That's my thoughts on the bias. So it pushes down, it creates another failed breakout here. It's a first entry short. Now I'm thinking prices are going to move back into this smaller blue range. If something sets up nicely before it hits this top resistance, there might be a trade. Unfortunately, it just gets a little congested. You do have a new low, first entry short right here. You technically have a second entry short. I'm thinking, is there possible second entry short failure? I'm just not that excited about this bar, but it pushes up. So this was a possible second entry short failure. Actually, I should probably just mark that. But after seeing this, I wasn't even sure a higher low is going to show up. And if the higher low did show up, it feels like it's not as useful or not a favorable trade anymore. Pushes up and through. Localized high, first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but it's not a good signal bar, nothing here. Which is the high side. I noticed there's this resistance here that's being respected. I was thinking, could this be the high side of a new range? Or it could have been this guy expanding out with the support still on this low side. I wasn't really sure. But I also know that prices are starting to slow down. These candles are taking like 2 to 3, even like 4 or 5 minutes to print. So I wasn't that excited about it because I don't want to sit in a trade and just wait, especially through this chop, to wonder if I'm going to get stopped out. Because the longer I'm in a trade, the more I start to doubt it's going to work. And I could end up just taking myself out break even, or it just builds up too much anxiety that I'd rather avoid. So prices continue moving, then it flushes to the downside. I thought there might have been trading trend channel here. And I thought initially these two were developing a bigger channel, but nothing really quite pans out. Breaks to the low side, Break of this orange down channel doesn't test the low, reverses strongly. Break of this red up channel tests the high, and it gives you a lower high. But this lower high, I thought is a possible trade. It's a little aggressive. It's a break of this red up channel, test the high, makes a second attempt. So technically it's a first entry short, second entry short, then a lower high. Even though it makes a double top, this is a red candle with a close to the low. I treat it as a lower high. So I thought there was a possible trade here, but it had to be based on the strength of this other key entry point, which is this potential, let me color it in, this potential red line being the top of a potential channel, because the up push is stalling out. It could be looking for a correction. So possible trade here, I just didn't take it, just left it alone. Price is moving down. Kind of gets choppy, gets a little noisy here, but as you can see, it's getting into the last 30 minutes of the day, and even the last 30 minutes to the last minute or last 10 minutes wasn't quite as volatile as it typically could be. So it looks like it was just kind of a slow crawl to the close. So I saw all the charts today. Ending the day a little bit red, but I'm kind of happy I didn't try to force anything else because, to be honest, I don't think there were that many better setups afterwards, especially when the price action really slowed down. So hopefully that was helpful.